What's good, YouTube? It's your boy EGFHOOPS here with his first official NBA YouTube video. That's just about the title. We're going to be going over why the Atlanta Hawks won't be making the playoffs. But before we even get into this, get me to 20 subs this week. We're going to be dropping a lot of videos. If you're from my main channel, thank you for being here. I appreciate the love and support. My second channel will be on here basically as much as I'm going to be on my primary channel. If you're not from my primary channel, it'll be linked down below. I may have it on the screen, I may not. EGF.RON make lifestyle type content. We're posting on there 2 to 3 times a week. We're going to be on here 2 to 3 times a week with major bangers. But as you tell by the title, we're talking about why I believe the Atlanta Hawks will not make the playoffs. Now, before we even get into this, the Atlanta Hawks is my favorite team. Giannis is my favorite player. Just tell y'all a little bit about me because this is my first video on. We're going to get straight into this. I'm not going to hold y'all too much longer. Again, don't forget to hit that like button, hit the sub button. Comment down below what you think. This is my personal opinion, so try not to take it too personal, but I will argue with you down below in the comment section regardless. Okay, now let's get to the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks had an interesting offseason. Most people say their offseason was good, but in my opinion, it was decent. Decent to kind of mediocre. And it's not that they didn't get talent, it's more of the talent that they did get. For starters, they had the 6th overall pick in the draft. With this 6th overall pick, they picked the 6'9" power forward / center out of USC with their 6th overall pick. When they made this pick, there was still a couple of good 2 guards available, as in Tyrese Halliburton. There was a 6'9" forward available in Denny. Y'all, the Hawks drafted this power forward / center. I'm not saying he's a scrub. In college, he averaged 3 blocks, which could make up for the Hawks was last in defensive efficiency last year. They was last in majority of defensive stats last year, but that's due to Clint Capella being out and having to move John Collins to the center position. Clint Capella's coming back this season. He's 25 and he's just entering his prime. So you just spent the 6th overall pick on a backup big that plays power forward mainly. He's 6'9", so even if you put him at the center, he is going to be kind of small. Although he did average 3 blocks in college, he averaged 9 rebounds, and it's not like he's a scrub. He averaged 16 points in college. So I'm not saying Onyeka Ngagwe is a scrub. He's not a scrub anyway, in any way possible. All I'm saying is that it was other players available, as in forwards. Unless you believe in Cam Reddish, you didn't just get Bogdan, but you didn't know you was getting Bogdan when the draft happened, which is kind of sus. But either way it goes, you could have went with a better small forward. It doesn't seem like Cam Reddish has that much upside to me, but I still have hope in him. I'm not gonna hold none of y'all. All I'm saying is Denny could have been a better option, or just going with a center in general. I don't got one up to mine other than James Wiseman in this draft, but there was a couple of decent centers in this draft that if you wanted to make backups, I would have made backups. But the 6th overall pick is still, it's just one outside of the top 5. Even then, if this kid can't play center or shows the inability to play center, he's going to be in the way of John Collins, who's basically coming up to a contract year. He wants a rookie extension, meaning he's going to want more PT to prove that he's worth that max extension that the Hawks is questionable about. We're going to get into that later. Also, with drafting this power forward / center out of USC, the Hawks signed a hot free agent that a lot of contending teams would have liked to have. I wish my Bucks would have got him. But Danilo Galinard. Now let's talk about Danilo. On top of this draft pick, that leaves them at 3 power forwards. All power forward. They didn't just give Danilo $60 million 3 years to play him off the bench or not to give him PT at all. They didn't just draft this dude not to put him minutes at power forward. Again, you can slide him down the center, but you're gonna have to pray that he's able to do that his rookie year. Not too many power forwards can switch to center rookie year. He played mainly forward at USC. Y'all, they signed Danilo Galinard, $60 million over 3 years. Danilo Galinard cannot play small forward. I see a lot of casual basketball fans saying Danilo Galinard can play the 3. Last year, he played less than 2% at the 3 due to the fact that he cannot play defense. He's a very poor defensive player. He's a defensive liability on a team that already had defensive problems. But as I said before, I think that was a major point of them drafting that power forward / center. Clint Capella's coming back. John Collins has some defensive problems at the power forward position. At the center position, he doesn't at all. Field goal percentage was over 50% when John Collins was guarding him. But signing Danilo Galinard brings nothing other than maybe spacing. And he can stretch the floor major for Trae Young. But again, he has no defense. In the Eastern Conference, where there's a lot of power forward / bigs. I mean, you can play KD at the 4. Siakam's at the 4. Sabonis is at the 4. Jason Tatum plays the 4. Sheesh, they even moved Bam to the 4 before. I mean, you can't really. I'm trying to think. Blake Griffin. Just a couple of names out there in that conference that plays the 4. Aaron Gordon. This man is you can't have a defensive liability like that just for shooting when Trae Young is a defensive liability. Your 4 can't be a defensive liability, because if that's the case, if you run that lineup, you may as well, you're gonna have to have at least Chris Dunn, you're gonna have to have at least Clint Capella, and then you may have to, at the 3, you gotta run DeAndre Hunter. So at that point, in order to run Galinard and Trae on the floor at the same time, you have to have 3 other defensive players. And again, Chris Dunn does not space the floor. Again, I'm not no genius. I don't know it all. I'm just pointing out what I think is gonna happen. If you have any problems with what I said, just comment down below. We can argue about it. Anyways, back to the point. Now, I can see them flipping Danilo Galinard to a good team to try and get some type of draft capital in the future, or someone that will make a better impact on this team after a couple of games, and then they can maybe make the playoffs. But again, with 3 power forwards, if you get picked with the 6th pick, you're gonna assume that you're gonna not start but have at least an immediate impact. That's minutes there. You didn't just give him $60 million to sit on the bench. He's gonna want minutes, and John Collins again wants a max rookie extension, and the Hawks are sus of it. And I don't think the Hawks should let John Collins walk for the 6th overall pick that they don't know how he's gonna do. Galinard, who's kind of aging, and this is basically his last big contract ever. John Collins is coming off a year where he averaged 22, 10, and 2, and he didn't shoot that shabby on the 3-point line. This leaves possible chemistry issues, as I said before, within those 3. Now let's move past the big man position, because they had more problems than that. Obviously, the Hawks was last in 3-point percentage last year, which is why I give them plus for signing Bogdan Bogdanovic, who is a 3-level scorer who take a lot of pressure off Trae Young when they're both on the floor, which could be obvious plus, along with the addition of Tony Snell, who can be kind of 3-and-D low-key. I'm not going to give him too much praise, but he can play a little bit of defense. But with all this being said, he signed Chris Dunn and Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo is an elite playmaker. Chris Dunn is not. Chris Dunn cannot shoot. He's a 2 guard that can't shoot, and he can't play make. And again, he can't shoot. Rajon Rondo cannot shoot. I'm not going to let them glimpse in the bubble convince me that Rajon Rondo can shoot. And again, a defensive team, a team that needs help on defensive end, Rajon Rondo has become a very, very overrated defender over these last couple of years. I'm sorry, somebody had to say it. I could pull up defensive ratings if I had to. I might put it on the screen, I might not. But it's just the eye test. He's starting to become a little bit overrated. Like, I wouldn't use the word good defender for Rondo. I'd use the word average defender for Rajon Rondo. Chris Dunn, though, is an elite defender that can't shoot and cannot play make / facilitate, which means you signed 2 players who basically are both 2 guards in a way that cannot be on the same, that can't touch the court at the same time. Therefore, you're gonna have an inconsistent bench unit. That's what we're dealing with now, which is gonna involve either Chris Dunn and Kevin Huerter, which I don't think will work, because Kevin Huerter isn't a facilitator either, or Rajon Rondo and Kevin Huerter in that backup backcourt. Unless you make one of them guys a starter, which wouldn't make any sense. Because I'm starting Trae Young, obviously. I'm starting Bogdan, and I might start DeAndre, unless they want to continue with, I don't know what they're going to do with Cam Reddish. But again, for a team that has problems on defense and shooting, why sign 2 guards that can't shoot consistently or isn't a real threat? I understand Rondo. I understand Chris Dunn is great on the defensive side. I understand he was a great pickup, 2 years, $10 million. He's not a high-risk player. You can obviously trade him and get rid of him. I just don't understand the fit. That's the whole point of this video. It's the fit. Now we're going to talk about what can possibly happen. What 8 teams do I see going over Atlanta? All right. Obviously, the Milwaukee Bucks, 1st seed last year, 1st seed this year. Celtics made the Eastern Conference Finals, I think, back-to-back, or I think they made at least the semifinals the last 3 or 4 years, minimum. He just went to the finals. They're looking to come back. They have a lot to prove wrong. I'm sure that they think that they had a chance to win. Bam was injured. Gorn was injured. Jimmy was kind of knocked up too. The 76ers, they just got more star power. They got a new coach. They traded Al Horford. They got some more role players. Ben Simmons is talking about he got a shot training with Sam Cassell. Nets made the playoffs the last 2 years. They just added Kyrie Irving and Kevin freaking Durant. The Wizards, who was also in the bubble, they made the bubble, just added an MVP, someone who averaged 28 points last year. He's a hated player, but he's obviously here for business. He got a lot of people to prove wrong. I think Russell Westbrook is coming. Not with title aspirations, but he got some people who want to prove wrong, which leaves the 8th seed, where I can see the Magic clinching like they did the last 2 or 3 years, or maybe the Pistons with all their accusations they just made on top of Blake Griffin returning. This does not mean the Hawks won't or can't make it, by the way. I just believe they may end up with the 9th or 10th seed. It is their first year. You got them chemistry issues. There's some questionable fits, and it's just year number 1. I can see this team easily making the finals. I'm going as far to say the finals within the last 5 years. As a matter of fact, last year, before all this stuff even happened, before all these bandwagon Atlanta Hawks fans come, follow me on Instagram, EGFHOOPS, or you can go follow my main account, EGF.RON. I called the Atlanta Hawks making the finals within the next 5 years. So that means in 3 years, I have 3 years for them to make the finals or my prediction is wrong. But that's about it with this video, y'all. Comment down below what you think. If you agree, disagree, we can argue in the comment section. I got more videos like this coming along, so stay tuned. The NBA season is starting soon. Training camp started a day or two ago. I love you guys more than I love myself. If you made it to the end, again, thank you with that sub button. I got a lot of things coming soon. EGF Hoops is going to be on top. Don't forget to check out my main channel if you love my personality. EGF squad, if you're here, I love y'all too. We out. Peace. I know you can't see me, but